What if I told you that some of the biggest action stars were secretly gay, living a life Hollywood desperately tried to erase? Behind the roaring engines, explosive fight scenes, and perfect on-screen romances, these stars were hiding their true selves, trapped in a world where revealing their sexuality could destroy everything they'd worked for. In a time when being gay meant the end of a career, these men navigated fame with a mask of straightness, their personal lives buried under layers of secrecy. Here are 20 action stars whose hidden truth could have shattered their careers, if it ever got out. Number 20. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was the epitome of Hollywood's golden boy, the ruggedly handsome heartthrob adored by millions. But behind the flawless exterior, Hudson harbored a secret that could have destroyed his career if it ever got out. In a time when being gay meant instant ruin, Hudson's relationships with men were kept hidden from the public eye. The studios worked tirelessly to maintain his ladies' man image, feeding the public's desire for a perfect, all-American star. But when AIDS tragically claimed his life, the truth finally came crashing into the spotlight. His death exposed a life lived in fear, a secret so carefully guarded that it couldn't be hidden forever. Rock Hudson's story wasn't just about stardom, it was about survival in a world that demanded silence. Number 19. Cary Grant. Cary Grant, with his impeccable charm and debonair looks, was the definition of a ladies' man. But behind closed doors, his closest relationship was with fellow actor Randolph Scott, sparking rumors that would follow him for decades. The world saw a suave, sophisticated heartthrob on the screen, but the truth was far more complex. Despite the Hollywood studios working overtime to protect his public persona, whispers of Grant's true sexual orientation never truly disappeared. It wasn't just the public's fascination with his on-screen romances, it was the untold story behind the scenes. The pressure to maintain his straight image weighed heavily on Grant, who never publicly confirmed the rumors. His personal life remained a well-guarded secret, but the question remains, how much of his life was truly his own? Number 18. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was more than just a screen legend. He was an enigma. His performances were raw, intense, and unforgettable, but they hid a much deeper personal story. Brando was known for his passionate relationships with both men and women, yet he never publicly confirmed the rumors that swirled around his sexuality. Hollywood's biggest bad boy was also a man who had to play by the industry's rules, which meant hiding parts of himself that would have ruined him. Brando's private life was a labyrinth of contradictions, one that his fans never fully understood. His story remains one of Hollywood's greatest mysteries. Was he just a genius actor, or was there a truth lurking beneath the surface that he couldn't reveal? Number 17. Peter Lawford. Peter Lawford, the charming member of the Rat Pack, was a man of many faces. On the outside, he exuded sophistication, mingling with Hollywood's elite and maintaining his position as a beloved heartthrob. But his true self was something else entirely. Lawford's private life was a well-kept secret. He had relationships with both men and women, yet his public persona never hinted at this hidden reality. The studios worked hard to protect his image, knowing that any exposure could have been career-ending. Lawford's suave socialite persona was a carefully crafted illusion, one that hid his truth behind the curtains of Hollywood's glittering facade. What was the cost of living in the closet for so long? His career was built on secrecy and survival. Number 16. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was the swashbuckling hero everyone adored. The charming, fearless man of action who captured the hearts of audiences worldwide. But behind the scenes, his life was anything but simple. Flynn's flamboyant personality and close bonds with male friends fueled rumors that he was far more than just a ladies' man. He was a man living a double life, playing the role of the heartthrob while concealing his true identity. Hollywood may have celebrated his on-screen exploits, but Flynn's personal life was filled with complexities that couldn't be erased. He was forced to wear a mask, one that hid the real man beneath the bravado. Could the true Errol Flynn have been just as iconic had the world known the real story? Number 15. James Mason. James Mason's career was built on sophistication and suave charm, but the man behind the roles remained a mystery. Known for his portrayal of cultured, polished characters, Mason's personal life was a tightly guarded secret. His friendships with men, some of them notably close, sparked speculation about his sexuality. Yet Mason never spoke about it. He never confirmed the whispers. In Hollywood, where public perception was everything, Mason kept his truth hidden, fearing the consequences of revealing his true self. The industry had a way of burying the most uncomfortable truths, and for Mason, silence was his shield. His story remains a quiet testament to the price of secrecy in a world where image was everything. Number 14. Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster was the quintessential tough guy, rugged, masculine, and the perfect leading man in every sense. On the outside, he lived the dream: powerful roles, a beloved star status, and a reputation as a ladies' man. But privately, Lancaster's life was far more complex. His sexual orientation was a subject of whispers and rumors within Hollywood circles, yet the man himself never addressed it publicly. Lancaster lived in the shadow of his public persona, keeping his true self under wraps to protect his career. The price of fame in a time of deep societal restrictions meant silence, and Lancaster paid that price every day. What would his legacy have looked like if the truth had come to light? Number 13. Anthony Quinn. Anthony Quinn was the powerful force behind some of Hollywood's most iconic roles, known for his performances in Zorba the Greek and Lawrence of Arabia. But while his career soared, his personal life remained a closely guarded secret. Although he was married twice, rumors of his romantic liaisons with men circulated in whispers. Quinn's story was one of survival, as he kept his private life tightly sealed, knowing that any hint of his true identity could have shattered his career. Hollywood wasn't kind to those who strayed from the expected norms, and Quinn understood the stakes. His truth was never fully revealed, leaving his personal story to remain one of Hollywood's many untold secrets. Number 12. Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero may have been Hollywood's original Latin lover, but his real life was far more complicated than his on-screen personas suggested. Best known for playing the Joker in the 1960s Batman series, Romero was adored by fans for his smooth charm and good looks. Yet, despite his on-screen romantic roles, Romero never married, and rumors about his sexuality dogged him throughout his life. He never publicly addressed the speculation, choosing instead to live his life in secrecy. His fame as a ladies' man may have been a carefully cultivated image, but the true story of his life remains a mystery, hidden behind the mask of Hollywood's expectations. What drove Romero to keep his truth buried for so long? Number 11. Ramon Novarro. Ramon Novarro was one of Hollywood's brightest stars during the silent film era, a heartthrob who captivated audiences with his charm and talent. But his rise to fame was also marked by a painful secret. Novarro's Mexican heritage, combined with his hidden sexuality, made his Hollywood journey perilous. In an industry where public image was everything, Novarro was forced to live a double life, concealing his true identity to protect his career. The pressures of hiding who he truly was eventually caught up with him, leading to a tragic end. Novarro's story is one of heartbreak, as the world saw a star but never truly understood the man behind the screen. Number 10. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo lit up the screen in Rebel Without a Cause, capturing hearts with his intensity and vulnerability. But behind that rising star was a young man living in fear. For years, Mineo kept his sexuality hidden, terrified that the truth would end his career. In a time when even a whisper could destroy everything, he played the game, smiling for the cameras, hiding his reality. Later in life, he finally came out, but it was a brave step taken after years of isolation and secrecy. Tragically, his life ended too soon, just as he was stepping into his truth. What might have been had Hollywood let him live openly from the start. Number 9. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift was one of the most brilliant actors of his time, but also one of the most haunted. His striking good looks and emotional depth made him a star, yet his personal life was marked by silent suffering. Clift's relationships with men were an open secret in Hollywood, but never spoken of publicly. He lived behind a mask, torn between who he was and who the world expected him to be. The emotional toll was visible in his performances, raw with pain and vulnerability. Clift never came out before his death, leaving behind a legacy of both genius and tragedy. Could he have survived the truth at a different time? Number 8. Tab Hunter. Tab Hunter had the look, the charm, and the adoration of millions. But his life was a script written by the studio, not one he could call his own. In the 1950s, Hunter was a teen idol, the boy every girl dreamed of. Behind the scenes, though his sexuality was carefully hidden. Studio executives staged fake romances and media appearances to sell the fantasy, knowing that one wrong move could end his career. The fear was constant, the pressure suffocating. Hunter eventually told his story, but only decades later. His truth was buried under decades of deceit. How many others lived the same lie? Number 7. Van Johnson. Van Johnson, the golden boy of the silver screen, was known for his wholesome, all-American charm, but there was always something the cameras didn't catch. Johnson's private life was the subject of hushed whispers. Rumors of secret relationships with men swirled around him for years. Yet he never addressed them, choosing to protect his carefully built image. In a Hollywood that demanded conformity, Johnson played the role expected of him, but the price was steep. How much of himself did he have to sacrifice to stay in the spotlight? Number 6. Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain was the heartthrob of millions, especially in his roles in Dr. Kildare and the Thornbirds. But for decades, he lived a double life. Chamberlain's sexuality was a carefully guarded secret, locked away for fear that the truth would destroy his career. He smiled for the cameras, gave interviews about women, and hid a part of himself for years. Only later in life did he come out, long after the industry could hurt him. His story is one of survival, but also sorrow. How different could his life have been if he hadn't been forced to hide? Number 5. George Nader. George Nader had it all: the looks, the talent, the screen presence to be a leading man, but one truth ended everything. When Nader was outed, his Hollywood dream came crashing down. Roles vanished, and the industry turned its back on him. His career was in a heartbeat, a reminder of how brutal and unforgiving the system could be. Nader never denied who he was. He simply paid the price for it. What does that say about the world he worked so hard to belong to? Number 4. Dirk Bogarde. Dirk Bogarde was a British film icon, known for his polished charm and striking performances. But his greatest relationship, his lifelong partnership with his manager, was never acknowledged publicly. Bogarde lived a life of subtle defiance, refusing to marry or conform, yet never revealing the truth either. For decades, he dodged questions, kept up appearances, and let the world believe what it wanted. Only after his death did many begin to piece together the truth of his hidden love. In the shadows of fame, how many secrets went to the grave with him? Number 3. Farley Granger. Farley Granger, best remembered for his role in Hitchcock's Rope, lived a life balanced on a knife's edge. Within his close circle, he was open about his relationships with men, but to the public, he wore a different face. Granger never officially came out, caught between acceptance in private and silence in the spotlight. Hollywood was a world of illusion, and Granger was forced to live in one of the greatest illusions of all. How does a man stay true to himself when the world demands a lie? Number 2. William Haines. William Haines was a trailblazer long before the world was ready. In the 1920s, he was one of Hollywood's top stars and openly gay among friends. But when the studios told him to choose between his career and his relationship, Haines chose love. He walked away from fame rather than deny the man he loved. His stardom vanished, but he built a new life as a successful interior designer, staying true to himself until the end. Haines didn't just survive, he thrived. Could there be a more powerful act of defiance? Number 1. Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr captivated audiences as the brilliant attorney in Perry Mason, but his off-screen life was one of carefully crafted lies. Burr never married, but that didn't stop studios from inventing stories. Fabricated wives, tragic deaths, and cover-ups, all to protect his secret. Behind the curtain, Burr had a longtime partner, but their relationship was kept hidden from the public eye. Hollywood demanded perfection, and Burr gave it at the cost of his truth. How many stories were rewritten just to fit the mold? These stars were forced to live behind masks, hiding who they truly were in a world that didn't accept them. But their stories also remind us of the power of resilience and the price of being true to oneself. In the end, their legacies are not just defined by their on-screen roles, but by their courage to live life on their terms. Who knows what might have happened if the world had been ready to accept them for who they were. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want more untold stories from Hollywood's past. Stay curious.